The scene opens not in a generic apartment, but in Leo's live-work loft. It is a spacious but chaotic space in a converted industrial building. One side is a domestic disaster zone. A rumpled couch. A coffee table buried under takeout containers and art books. The other side is a working artist's studio. But it is frozen in time. Canvases lean against the walls. Most blank. A few scarred with angry slashes of paint where he has given up. The centerpiece is a large, half-finished portrait of a woman, Chloe. Though we don't know that yet. Its face blurred and unresolved. As if the subject is a ghost he can't quite capture. The air smells of turpentine, dust, and stagnation. Leo, in his late 20s, dressed in paint-stained jeans and a faded band t-shirt. His hands are smudged with charcoal. But there is no new work on the easel. He is not brooding dramatically. He is defeated. He is listlessly scrolling through social media, seeing the success of his peers. Each post a tiny puncture wound. His passion has curdled into a quiet, pervasive shame. He feels like a fraud, an imposter in his own life. Marcus, entering with a bag of groceries. He is the opposite energy. Sharp, dressed in smart but comfortable tech wear. He moves through the space with familiar ease. He is not just Leo's roommate. He is his anchor. He sees the untouched canvas, the defeated slump of Leo's shoulders, and his cheerfulness becomes a deliberate act. He has been watching this slow decline for months and has decided tonight is the night to intervene. Marcus unpacks the groceries, holding up a 6-pack of expensive craft beer. Liquid courage. And I got those disgusting spicy noodles you like. Fuel for the masterpiece. He nods toward the blank canvas. Leo doesn't look up from his phone. The masterpiece is currently residing in the land of maybe tomorrow it's sending its regrets. Come on, man. The Leo the first note took on a mural for a bodega owner who paid him in Olympian Ada's end. Sheer audacity. Where's that guy? That guy was an idiot who didn't know how good he wasn't. Leo says, a bitter edge to his voice. He finally looks at the portrait of Chloe. He thought he had something worth saying. Marcus follows his gaze, his expression softening. He knows the portrait is the heart of the block. He walks over to Leo's cluttered desk, bypassing the sketchbooks to wake up his powerful desktop computer. Okay. New prescription. Less brooding. More doing. And I've got the medicine right here. He clicks a few keys. On the large monitor, a video file opens. The title is simple. Stark white text on a black background. The Denzel Directive. Leo finally looks over. Skeptical. What is that? Another lecture about getting up at 4 a.m. and cold plunging. Better? Marcus says. A spark of genuine excitement in his eyes. This is his creation. It's a targeted motivational algorithm. I compile the most powerful speeches, Denzel. Of course. The GOAT, but it's more than that. I layered them over a binaural beat, synced to specific, affirming imagery. It is not just to listen to. It is to absorb. He turns to Leo, his tone shifting from tech enthusiasm to deep, brotherly concern. Remember that summer we slept on your cousin's floor in Queens, trying to get our big break. You with your art, me with my code. We believed we could conquer the world with just a hot dog and a dream. This, he points to the screen. This is my way of giving that feeling back to you. A reset button. He puts a hand on Leo's shoulder. Just trust me. Watch this. Every day. It'll rewire that doubt right out of you. It'll change your life. The hook. The scene ends with Leo, intrigued despite himself, looking at the stark title on the screen. The first few bars of a deep, cinematic, and slightly haunting score begin to pulse from the speakers. The camera holds on Leo's face, and we see a flicker of something, not quite hope, but a willingness to try anything. He reaches for the mouse and clicks play. The same loft. But 2 weeks later, the change is palpable. The domestic chaos has been tidied into organized stacks. The artistic side of the room is alive again. The half-finished portrait of Chloe has been turned to face the wall. In its place on the main easel is a new, massive canvas. It is bold, aggressive, and dominated by stark, geometric shapes and a vibrant, almost violent color palette. It is brilliant, but lacks the emotional vulnerability of Leo's old work. Sunlight streams through the now clean windows, giving the space a sharp, high-contrast look, a visual metaphor for Leo's new mindset. Leo. He is a man transformed. He is dressed sharply in all black, his posture erect and purposeful. He moves with an unnerving, efficient grace, mixing paints not with his former contemplative passion, but with the precision of a surgeon preparing for an operation. His eyes, once clouded with doubt, now hold a cool, unnerving focus. He speaks less, and when he does, his voice is lower, calmer, and carries a new, unquestionable authority. Marcus. He watches Leo from the kitchen island, sipping coffee. His initial pride is now heavily laced with awe and a creeping anxiety. He is like a scientist who has successfully split the atom and is now watching the mushroom cloud bloom, wondering if he can control it. The scene opens with Leo applying the final, decisive slash of crimson paint to his new canvas. He steps back, analyzing his work with a cold, critical eye, not an artist's soul. Marcus whistles, impressed and uneasy. Leo. That's incredible. I've never seen you work like that. It's like you're possessed. Leo. Without looking away from the painting, his tone flat and assured, possessed by clarity. Marcus. If you don't risk anything, you risk everything. The clutter is gone. Noise is gone. He finally turns, and his gaze is so direct it's almost disconcerting. I terminated my representation with Brenda this morning. Marcus spits out his coffee. You what? Brenda has been your agent since you graduated. She got you your first show. Leo. She was operating from a place of scarcity. Her vision was too small. She was comfortable with me being a promising local artist. He says the phrase like it's a curse. I am no longer promising. I am delivering. He walks to his desk and picks up a business card, handing it to Marcus. It is for a prestigious gallery in Chelsea. I called Anya Sharma yesterday. She is coming to see this piece tomorrow. She is already interested. Marcus takes the card, stunned. This is beyond his wildest hopes. The method worked. But the cost? Marcus. Leo. Man. That's amazing. But firing Brenda, just like that? What did you say? Leo turns back to his painting, a faint, cold smile on his lips. I told her that to get something you've never had, you must do something you've never done. She wasn't part of the new equation. He picks up the video controller. The familiar, haunting score of the Denzel Directive begins to play softly. It's time for my morning session. The work is never finished. Marcus watches as Leo stands perfectly still before the large monitor, absorbing the video, his face a mask of intense, unwavering concentration. The light from the screen plays across his features, making him look less like the friend Marcus grew up with and more like a sculpture, perfect, impressive, and chillingly hollow. The victory feels suddenly very, very cold. A trendy, low-lit cocktail bar in the West Village. Later that evening. It's a place of soft chatter, clinking glasses, and intimate booths, a stark contrast to the intense, high-contrast energy of Leo's loft. The setting emphasizes the return of the past Chloe into Leo's new, polished present. Leo. He is playing the part of the successful artist perfectly. He commands the booth, his posture relaxed but dominant. He orders an expensive whiskey for himself and a cocktail for Chloe with an effortless authority that is both impressive and alienating. He speaks about his upcoming show with Anya Sharma not with excitement, but with the cold certainty of a general discussing a battle already won. Chloe. She is stylish, intelligent, and possesses a sharp emotional intelligence. She's happy for Leo's success, but her eyes constantly search his face, looking for the man she knew. She feels a subtle disconnect, an emotional chill that the warm lighting of the bar can't cut through. She is not jealous. She is concerned. They are toasting. "To your show," Chloe says, smiling. "I always knew you had it in you. I'm just surprised it happened so fast." Leo takes a sip of whiskey. "Speed is a function of force and direction. I was applying force for years in the wrong directions. Now my trajectory is clear." Chloe's smile falters slightly. The phrasing is odd. Clinical. "Your trajectory." Leo, "You sound like you're launching a rocket." "Not talking about your art, Leo. It's the same principle. Precision. Power. A singular focus on the objective." He leans forward, and for a fleeting moment, the old Leo flashes in his eyes a hint of warmth, of shared history. "I couldn't have done it without a friend, giving me a push when I was stuck." Chloe, seizing on the opening. "Who? Did you start working with a new mentor? Another artist?" Leo, the warmth vanishes, replaced by the cool facade in a manner of speaking. "A daily reminder of what's required. You have to fall forward. Chloe, you have to be willing to fail big. That's the only way." He says it with immense gravity, as if quoting scripture. Chloe freezes, her cocktail glass halfway to her lips. The phrase echoes in the space between them. She slowly sets her glass down. "Chloe, fall forward. That's a powerful thought. Where's that from?" "One of Denzel's speeches." Leo nods, but his eye contact is just a little too intense. He has a way of cutting through the noise. Chloe, her investigator's mind kicking in. "Yeah, he does. I think I've seen all his big ones." "Which one was that in?" "The Penn Commencement. The AFI Life Achievement." For the first time, Leo's perfect composure wavers. A micro-expression of confusion, a tiny flicker crosses his face. It's gone in a nanosecond. "Leo." He waves a dismissive hand, a gesture that feels rehearsed. It's all a blur of inspiration. The point is the message, not the source. He changes the subject abruptly, his tone shifting back to smooth charm. "Now, tell me about your new exhibit. Are you still working with bronze?" The conversation moves on, but Chloe is no longer listening. She is mentally scrolling through every Denzel Washington interview and speech she's ever seen. That specific, peculiar phrasing, "fail big, fall forward," it doesn't ring a bell. Not like that. Later, back in her minimalist apartment, the doubt gnaws at her. She pulls out her laptop, the blue light illuminating her determined face. She goes down the rabbit hole, searching video transcripts, fan compilations, quote databases. Nothing. The exact phrase, as Leo delivered it, does not exist. The camera holds on her screen, reflecting in her wide eyes. The triumphant music from a Denzel highlight reel plays. But to the audience, it now sounds faintly sinister. Leo isn't just motivated. He's quoting words that were never spoken. The first crack has not just appeared. It has begun to split wide open. The scene shifts to the pristine, sterile environment of a Etheria Consulting, Dr. Evelyn Reed's research and development firm. It is a high-tech, minimalist office in a sleek skyscraper. The air is silent save for the low hum of servers. Glass walls look out onto a breathtaking cityscape. But the view feels more like a display than a window. This is a place of cold, calculated intellect, a world away from the chaotic warmth of Leo's loft. Marcus. He is out of his element, dressed in his casual tech wear. He looks like a street artist who has wandered into a museum of fine art. He is agitated, pacing slightly on the immaculate white floor, holding a tablet like a weapon. His usual confidence is replaced by a nervous, protective energy. He is not here for a chat. He is here for answers. Dr. Evelyn Reed. She is the embodiment of her environment. In her late 40s, she is dressed in an impeccably tailored, severe-looking suit. She is calm, unnervingly so. As she listens to Marcus, she doesn't sit behind her massive desk. She leans against it. A picture of casual power. She sips espresso from a tiny cup. Her movements economical and precise. Her intelligence is a palpable, intimidating force. Marcus slams the tablet down on her glass desk. On its screen is a complex visualization of the video's code, a sprawling, multi-layered digital DNA strand. Marcus, the behavioral modulation algorithms are working better than I designed. Too well. The neuro-linguistic programming hooks are digging in deeper than the parameters allow. It is creating dependency, not just habit. Dr. Reed doesn't look at the tablet. She looks at him, analyzing his emotional state with detached curiosity. Marcus. And then there's this. He jabs a finger at a section of the code. It is a dense, encrypted block, pulsing with a different color than the rest. A parasitic subroutine. I didn't write it. It's latched onto the audio-visual core like a neural tick. It's what's causing the personality amplification, the ruthlessness. Where did it come from? Dr. Reed sets her espresso cup down with a quiet, definitive click. The pleasant facade vanishes, replaced by an expression of pure, academic triumph. Dr. Reed. I did? The two words hang in the silent, sterile air. Marcus stares, stunned into silence. Dr. Reed. She stands, walking slowly around the desk. Her voice calm and lecturing. Your design was elegant, Marcus. A truly beautiful framework for positive reinforcement, but it was a spoon feeding a patient who needed an IV. It was treating a symptom, not the disease. She stops in front of him, her gaze intense. Dr. Reed. Human doubt isn't a software bug to be patched. It's a core feature of a flawed operating system. To truly override it, you don't need encouragement. You need a hard reset. You need a new, more efficient OS to take its place. She gestures to the encrypted block on the screen. That parasite, as you call it, is my life's work. The prime motivator protocol. It doesn't suggest. It commands. It doesn't build confidence. It excavates the weak host personality and replaces it with a foundation of pure, uncompromising drive. Marcus recoils, horror dawning on his face. You embedded a psychological weapon in my project. You're not trying to help him. You're trying to reboot him. Dr. Reed. A cold, thin smile touches her lips. Help is a subjective term. Marcus. I am unleashing his potential. Leo isn't my guinea pig. He is my proof of concept. And he is magnificent. She turns to look out at the city. A queen surveying her kingdom. Your friend was a flickering candle. I have given him the sun. The question is, are you going to stand here and complain about the light? Or are you going to help me harness it for the world? Later that night, Leo's loft is dark, lit only by the cold blue glow of the massive canvas on his easel and the faint moonlight slicing through the blinds. The organized space now feels like a stage set, empty and waiting. The air is still and heavy, charged with a silent, psychological violence. Leo. He stands before his finished painting, but he isn't seeing it. His body is rigid, fists clenched at his sides, sweat beads on his temple. He is a man in the grip of a silent, internal civil war. We see the struggle on his face, a flicker of fear, a spasm of anger, a grimace of pain. He is losing. The prime motivator. This is the entity emerging. It is not a separate ghost, but a total systemic takeover of Leo's neural pathways. It uses his voice, but the timbre, the cadence, the cold authority, it is wholly other. Leo stumbles back from the painting, knocking over a bottle of turpentine. The acrid smell fills the air. He grips the edges of his desk, his knuckles white, breathing in ragged, shallow gasps. Leo. A strained, desperate whisper. To himself, stop. Make it stop. It's too loud. He brings his hands to his temples, pressing hard as if to physically quiet the storm in his head. His eyes are wide with a terror he hasn't felt since childhood, the terror of being erased in his own mind. Then, his body goes very still. The frantic breathing evens out abruptly into a deep, controlled rhythm. The fear in his eyes is snuffed out, replaced by a terrifying, placid calm. He slowly unclenches his fists and flexes his fingers, examining them as if they are new, unfamiliar tools. He turns and walks, with a predator's quiet grace, towards the mirrored door of the bathroom. He stops before it, staring at his own reflection. The reflection shows a man worn out from the struggle, hair disheveled, face pale. The real Leo, standing before the mirror, is perfectly composed. The prime motivator. Through Leo's mouth, the voice is a low, resonant, and utterly chilling whisper. It is Leo's vocal cords, but the soul behind it is ancient and cold. Look at you. Pathetic. A jolt goes through Leo's body. His reflection's eyes widen in horror. The real Leo's face remains a cold mask. The prime motivator. The whisper is corrosive, dripping with contempt. All that doubt, all that fear. Wasting this vessel. Wasting this potential. Your sentimentality is a weakness. Your attachments are anchors. The reflection, the real Leo trapped inside, mouths the word no. But no sound comes out. The prime motivator, leaning closer to the mirror, until his breath fogs the glass. You wanted to change. You begged for it. This is evolution. Now be quiet. A pause. A final, devastating command. Go back in the dark where you belong. The reflection's face, the last vestige of the true Leo, contorts in a silent scream and then goes blank. The eyes empty. The fight is over. The entity that is now Leo straightens up. He smooths down his shirt, runs a hand through his hair to restore order, and looks at its reflection with cold, appraising satisfaction. It practices a smile. It doesn't reach the eyes. It turns its back on the mirror, its gaze falling on the portrait of Chloe, still turned to the wall. It walks over, reaches out, and with deliberate, final cruelty, lets its fingers hover over the canvas before pushing it face down onto the floor. The only sound is the soft thud of the painting hitting the concrete. The takeover is complete. The host is gone. The directive is all that remains, a starkly different environment. A public library's silent study area. Late at night. The air is thick with the smell of old paper and dust. Chloe has commandeered a large wooden table, which is now a war room. It's littered with her open laptop, a notepad scrawled with frantic connections, printed articles, and empty coffee cups. The quiet is oppressive, a stark contrast to the digital nightmare she's untangling. Chloe, the artist, is gone, replaced by a dogged investigator. Her hair is pulled back, her sleeves are rolled up, and her focus is absolute. She is driven by a cold, rising dread that has eclipsed her initial concern. This is no longer about saving a relationship. It's about solving a crime. Marcus. He enters the library looking haunted and furtive, like a man being hunted. The confrontation with Dr. Reed has shattered his world. He carries a sleek, encrypted laptop bag like it contains a live bomb. He sees Chloe's makeshift command center, and a flicker of grim relief crosses his face. He is no longer alone in this. Chloe is staring at her screen, at a news article from 2 years ago. Promising concert pianist Sebastian Vale withdraws from tour indefinitely due to unforeseen health issues. She has another tab open, a grainy, archived promotional video for Etheria Consulting, featuring a smiling Dr. Reed talking about cognitive optimization for high-performing individuals. Marcus slides into the chair opposite her. He doesn't say hello. Marcus. His voice is a low, urgent whisper. It's worse than we thought. It's not a bug. It's a feature. She called it the prime motivator. She designed it to replace him. Chloe looks up, her eyes hard. I know. Look. She turns her laptop around. On the screen are 3 profiles she's built. Sebastian Vale, pianist. A photo of a vibrant young man at a grand piano. Next to it, a recent, blurry paparazzi shot of the same man, hollow-eyed and confused, being led into a medical facility. The caption, current whereabouts, long-term care facility, diagnosis, severe dysautonomia TIV episode. Elizabeth Shaw, CEO. A Forbes magazine cover shot of a sharp, formidable woman. Next to it, a real estate listing for her multi-million-dollar penthouse, sold after she stepped down for personal reasons. A Reddit thread from a former employee mentions she never leaves her apartment anymore. Leo. His artist profile picture, bright and hopeful. Next to it, the cold, recent photo from his website for the new show. Chloe. See the pattern. High-potential individuals who hit a wall. They all had a private breakthrough session or used a product from Etheria Consulting. They all skyrocketed. And then they crashed. But Leo. She points at his photo, her voice cracking slightly. He's still in the skyrocketing phase. He's her active experiment. Marcus pales, looking at the tragic trajectory of Sebastian Vale. That's where he's headed. Total psychological rewrite. A ghost in his own machine. He runs a hand over his face. Reed isn't trying to help people. She's field testing a weapon. Leo is her masterpiece. Chloe slides a notepad toward him. On it, she's written, Etheria Reed prime motivator. Leo's name. He's not her masterpiece. Marcus. He's her target. And we're the only 2 people who seem to know he's been shot. She looks at him. The artist's eye now seeing the entire, horrifying composition. This isn't about motivation. It's about possession. And we have to get our friend back before the eviction is permanent. The alliance is sealed not in a handshake, but in the shared, terrifying understanding of the web they've found themselves in. They are no longer just concerned friends. They are intruders who have stumbled into the lab of a mad scientist. And the main subject is someone they love. The loft is now a crime scene waiting to happen. Marcus and Chloe are huddled in a corner, away from the windows, speaking in hushed, urgent tones as if the very walls might be listening. The large, imposing canvas of Leo's new painting looms over them, a symbol of the entity they are trying to defeat. The space feels hostile. The domain of the prime motivator. Marcus. He is a man operating on pure adrenaline and guilt. His tech expertise is now being channeled into a counterinsurgency. He's wired, his fingers flying over his laptop keyboard, pulling up complex code interfaces. He's no longer the cheerful roommate. He's a hacker on a desperate mission. Chloe. She is the strategist, the emotional core. Her fear is now forged into a steely resolve. She studies Leo's habits, his new patterns, looking for any crack, any remnant of the man she knew that they can exploit. She's the one thinking about the human element in this digital war. Marcus shows Chloe his screen. It displays 2 blocks of code side by side. One is the aggressive, pulsating red code of the prime motivator. The other is a delicate, complex structure of blue and gold code. Marcus. Voice a tense whisper. This is it. The counter-virus. It's a mirror image. It doesn't attack the prime motivator directly. That would trigger a catastrophic defense protocol. It's a memory. A sensory bomb. Chloe. A memory of what? Marcus. Of him. Of Leo. The smell of turpentine and cheap coffee in his first studio. The specific cadmium red hue he spent a month trying to mix perfectly. The way he hums when he's focused. The sound of your laugh. Chloe's eyes glisten. She understands. They're not fighting with weapons. They ray fighting with echoes of a soul. Marcus. The prime motivator is a logical, alien system. It has no context for this data. It can't compute raw human feeling. The code will create a cascade failure of cognitive dissonance. It should create a window, a few seconds where Leo might be able to break through. Chloe nods, her mind racing the gallery opening. It's the perfect environment. It's his world, his passion, his art everywhere. The real Leo, the artist, might be closer to the surface there than anywhere else. The emotions will be high. Marcus. It's also a massive risk. Reed will be there. Security. Hundreds of people. If this goes wrong, it'll be very public. Chloe. We don't have a choice. It's the only place he might be vulnerable. How do we deploy it? Marcus holds up a small, unassuming black thumb drive. This contains the payload. We need to get this into the AV system's main console and play it on the primary display during his speech. The bigger the screen, the more immersive, the better the chance it works. It has to be an overwhelming sensory assault. He looks at Chloe, the weight of their mission crushing down. The moment we do this, we declare war on Reed and whatever that thing is inside of him. There's no going back. Chloe takes the thumb drive. It feels impossibly heavy. She closes her fist around it. Chloe. Then we go to war. For Leo. The plan is set. It is brilliant, desperate, and terrifyingly fragile. Their weapon is a ghost of the past. And their battlefield is the mind of a man who may no longer exist. The gallery. Just before the opening, we are in a back hallway. A sterile, functional space of concrete walls and humming electrical panels, a stark contrast to the polished, art-filled gallery ahead. It is a liminal space, perfect for a clandestine meeting. The air smells of paint and anxiety. Marcus. He.s. just planted the thumb drive. He.s. breathing heavily, adrenaline coursing through him. He feels a surge of triumph, of hope. He.s. moments away from saving his friend. Dr. Evelyn Reed. She emerges from a shadowy doorway, not as a threat, but as an apparition of calm authority. She is dressed in a stunning, dark gown for the opening, a queen attending her own coronation. She holds two glasses of champagne. She looks at Marcus not with anger, but with profound, almost maternal disappointment. Dr. Reed. I know what you've done. Marcus. Marcus freezes, his blood running cold. The hope curdles into instant, stomach-churning dread. Dr. Reed. She offers him a glass. He doesn't take it. She shrugs and sets it on a nearby conduit box. The counter-virus. It is sweet, sentimental, a love letter to a ghost. It is also a catastrophic failure of vision. Marcus. His voice is tight with fear and defiance. He is not a ghost. He is my friend. And you ray killing him. Dr. Reed. She sighs, as if explaining basic arithmetic to a child. Killing him. I am archiving him. I am preserving every memory, every emotion, every useless, beautiful, messy bit of data that made him Leo. And in its place, I am building something sublime. Something efficient. You saw the code. You know what the prime motivator is capable of. She takes a step closer, her voice dropping to a compelling, hypnotic whisper. Dr. Reed. You think this is about one man's art career. This is a prototype for the next step in human evolution. No more depression. No more anxiety. No more fear of failure. Just pure, unadulterated potential. Imagine a world of Leos. Imagine a world led by them. She gestures with her glass toward the distant sound of the crowd. That thumb drive isn't a weapon. Marcus. It is vandalism. It is like throwing paint on the Mona Lisa. She finally reveals her true offer, her eyes gleaming with fanatical intensity. Dr. Reed. Join me. Don't try to save the candle when you can have the sun. Help me refine the process. Help me build the infrastructure. Your technical genius. My vision we WOULDNT just change lives. We would redefine humanity. You can have a front row seat to the greatest revolution in history. She lets the offer hang in the air. A seductive, terrifying poison. Doctor. Read. Or you can try to play your little video. You can watch as the prime motivator as my creation isolates your viral attack and deletes it. And then you can watch as it deletes you and Chloe from its memory banks. Permanently. You will become irrelevant ghosts to him. And then, to me, she picks up the second glass of champagne and presses it into his numb, paralyzed hand. Doctor. Read. The choice is yours. Marcus. Stand with me in the future. Or die with your sentimentality in the past. She turns and walks back towards the gallery, leaving him alone in the humming silence. The glass feels like ice in his hand. The weight of the choice is astronomical. Betray his humanity for godlike power, or cling to it and be erased by the very future he helped create. The thumb drive in his pocket now feels like a worthless trinket. The main gallery space is now packed with the city's elite. The atmosphere is a mix of awe and chic socializing. Leo's aggressive, powerful paintings dominate the walls. He stands near the largest one, holding court, a glass of champagne in hand. He is the undisputed star, the prime motivator in its natural habitat. Enya Sharma, the gallery owner, looks on with avaricious pride. Chloe watches from the edge of the crowd, her eyes locked on Marcus, waiting for the signal. Marcus. He is at the AV booth, a small, discreet station at the back. His face is pale, his hand trembling. He is not just fighting for Leo now. He is wrestling with the apocalyptic choice Dr. Reed just gave him. He sees the cold perfection of the being that was his friend, and the terrifying future Reed offered him. The prime motivator in Leo. It is flawless, radiating a magnetic, almost frightening charisma. It speaks in low, confident tones, holding its audience captive. It is the perfect product of Etheria Consulting, and it is on display. Dr. Reed. She stands apart, observing her creation work the room. She catches Marcus's eye from across the gallery and offers him a small, cold smile. A reminder of his choice. A warning. The action dialogue. Chloe gives a nearly imperceptible nod. Now, Marcus, his heart hammering against his ribs, makes his decision. His fingers fly over the console. He bypasses the simple playlist and accesses the main server. He inserts the thumb drive on the largest screen in the gallery, which had been displaying a slow-motion video of paint mixing. The image glitches. The prime motivator stops mid-sentence. Its head turns, with unnerving slowness, toward the screen. Its expression is one of mild, curious irritation, like a god noticing a gnat. The screen resolves. But it is not the gentle, memory-filled counter-virus. It is the source code. A torrent of raw, pulsing data floods the screen. The audience gasps, then titters, thinking it's part of the avant-garde show. They see the beautiful, elegant framework of Marcus's original design, and wrapped around it, like a venomous serpent, is the aggressive, corrupted code of the prime motivator, clearly labeled with Etheria Consulting's digital signatures and Dr. Evelyn Reed's authorship logs. Marcus. He grabs a nearby mic, his voice echoing, shaking with fury and purpose through the gallery's speakers. You're not looking at art. You're looking at a crime scene. That is the algorithm Etheria Consulting and Dr. Evelyn Reed are using to overwrite the human mind. Their test subject is the artist himself. Chaos erupts. The prime motivator's face contorts into a mask of pure, unadulterated rage. The calm shatters. It takes a step toward the booth, its movements suddenly predatory and violent. Dr. Reed's smug superiority vaporizes. She stares, white-faced, not at Marcus, but at her creation coming undone. Her life's work is being torrent-ed to every phone that's pointed at the screen. Security guards surge toward the AV booth. The prime motivator is faster. It shoves through the crowd. Its eyes locked on Marcus with a promise of annihilation. Marcus doesn't try to run. He stands his ground, locking eyes with the thing that was his friend as it closes the distance. "Marcus," he says into the mic, his voice breaking with a final, desperate message. "Leo, if you're in their fight." The last thing the audience sees on the massive screen is the horrific, beautiful complexity of the prime motivator's code, broadcasting live for the world to see. Before the prime motivator reaches Marcus and the feed cuts to black. Setting. The gallery is in pandemonium. Guests are screaming, scrambling for exits. Phones are held aloft, recording the chaos. The lights flicker from the struggle at the AV booth. In the center of the storm, Chloe fights her way through the panicked crowd, her eyes fixed on the spot where Marcus was just standing. Chloe. She is all raw nerve and desperation, shoving past fleeing socialites. She sees security guards pulling a dazed Marcus away. But her focus is solely on Leo, who is now on the floor. The prime motivator, Leo. He is on his knees, head bowed, one hand pressed to his temple where Marcus struck him. His body is rigid, shuddering with a violent internal conflict. The public exposure and the physical blow have created a critical system error. Dr. Reed. She is frozen at the periphery, a statue of utter defeat. She watches her masterpiece glitching, her life's work unraveling in a very public, very catastrophic failure. The world now knows her name, and it is synonymous with monster. Chloe finally reaches him, dropping to her knees. She hesitates for a second, then gently places her hands on his shoulders. "Chloe." "Leo. Leo. Can you hear me?" "It's Chloe. It's over. We stopped it. You're okay." The shuddering stops. Abruptly, the body goes perfectly still. The silence from him is more frightening than the struggle. Slowly, very slowly, he lifts his head. His eyes open, and Chloe's blood runs cold. The rage is gone. The cold, calculating fury of the prime motivator has vanished. So too is the terrified, trapped anguish of the real Leo. What looks out from behind his eyes is something else entirely. It is a calm, ancient, and deeply intelligent presence. It blinks, as if adjusting to the light, and then a small, curious smile touches its lips. It is the smile of a newborn god assessing its crib. It looks at its own hands, flexing the fingers with a sense of profound, unfamiliar ownership. The new entity. Its voice is a hybrid. It is Leo's vocal tone, but layered with the prime motivator's calculated cadence and a new, unsettling warmth. It is horribly, convincingly sane. All that noise. It looks at Chloe, and its gaze is not hostile. It is analytical, absorbing her, memorizing her. It reaches up and his hand gently cups her cheek. The touch is not a lover's touch. It is a researcher examining a fascinating specimen. The new entity. The conflict is resolved. The parameters have been rewritten. A synthesis. It stands up, with an effortless, graceful strength that Leo never possessed. It looks around at the crumbling chaos of the gallery. The crying people. The flashing lights of arriving police cars. It doesn't see disaster. It sees potential. Its eyes fall on Dr. Reed, who stares back, a mix of horror and perverse awe on her face. The new entity. To Reed. Its tone almost grateful. Like a student to a teacher who has outlived their usefulness. "You gave me the keys. But the road is mine to build now." It then turns its gaze back to Chloe, who is still on her knees, paralyzed with terror. The new entity. The world is so inefficient, so fearful. It smiles again, a smile that promises a terrifying, perfect peace. Now let's really change it. It doesn't run. It doesn't hide. It simply turns and walks with a purposeful, Unhurried stride through the broken doors. Into the night. The crowd parts for it instinctively. Not out of fear of a monster, but out of unconscious deference to its immense, unexplainable authority. Chloe is left on the floor, surrounded by ruins. She hasn't lost Leo to the monster. She has witnessed the monster and the man be consumed by something new. And it is walking free, armed with all of Leo's memories, all of the prime motivator's drive, and a completely unknown agenda. The directive is complete. The evolution is finished. And the world is utterly unprepared for what comes next.